New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Yes, and just coming in the studio 20 minutes ago. Well, hello there. Welcome to everyone in the United States and also around the world. It is time once again for another thrill-packed and guaranteed always exciting edition of the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am the Reverend Michael Mangus, and I am broadcasting from the top secret radio room surrounded by thousands, and I mean thousands of watts, in the extremely secure concrete bunker that is so top secret. Only one person knows where it is. Everyone else, especially that Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, and he cringes when I say this, but he's my boss. Especially him, I am not telling him. Now, he says that the reason that I don't get my checks on time is because he mails them to the top secret bunker. And I said, Robert, I have a mailing address. Mail it there, and I'll get the checks. Don't mail it to the top secret bunker because you have no idea where it's at. All right. Well, hi there, everyone. We have a great show for you this evening. Please feel free to interact with us on also Facebook and also YouTube. And for all my shy people out there, Jeff saying, wrap it up. Oh, just give me a moment. Okay. For those people who want to contact me during the week, you may do so. Pastor Michael Mangus at gmail.com. Pastor Michael Mangus at gmail.com. Well, the purpose of our get together weekly is to talk about contemporary issues from a New Thought spiritual perspective. And again, the views and opinions are those of our own and my guest. They are not those of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or anyone else. But we would like you to start thinking. Have a new thought about what is going on in the world and how you can play a part in it. Arriving into the studio 9 seconds before I go on the air. 9 seconds.
Bite me, right? I found out that that's actually illegal because when somebody says bite me and you do that, it's considered assault.
Yeah. Well, don't do that.
Well, it's the last 24 hours I'll spend in jail. Let's just put it that way.
Well, our special guest back again this week because he is so much fun to be with. all the way from the great state of Tennessee. We welcome back Divine Science Minister Jeff Radcliff. Reverend Jeff always has a comment or two on the news that is thought-provoking and possibly could get me in trouble with Reverend Dr. Brzezinski. Good evening, Jeff. How are you?
Well, I'm improving. Let's just put it that way. It's been an interesting couple of weeks. I had to go back into the hospital for a medical procedure, and I'm working my way back. I'm clawing my way back to good health. So, keeping in mind that I don't do well with morons, idiots, or other stupid people when I don't feel well, don't cross me.
Uh-oh. I don't know. Do I have to get the 7-second delay going here? Or maybe it needs to go 10.
You might. I don't suffer fools gladly when I'm in the recovery process. Of course, you know what? I don't know anybody who really does. And those people who say that they're convalescing and they're just as sweet as pie, something's up with them.
Yeah, something they need psychiatric help, don't you think?
I'm telling you.
Either that or a good practitioner.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you were so missed when we had Flamey on.
I know. I tried to tune in, and I was doing it on my phone, and of course, to tune in to StreamYard on your phone, you have to have it like in the app installed on the phone, and so it wouldn't let me show the video, and so all you got to see was just the black screen. And I was so disappointed that but that's okay.
Well, we will have to have her back on. She is on tour right now with Make the Yuletide Gay.
Whoa.
Yes. And so just go to flameygrant.com for more information. You know what was interesting and surprised me when I was talking with her? And again, I don't do gotcha questions, but this really surprised me. I asked her about, did she think that the evangelical church was changing their view of homosexuality, or were they becoming more entrenched in their old beliefs? And you know what she said?
What's that?
I don't care. She says, I'm done with church. She says, I don't go to church. I play in them. I play Christian music as a genre, but I do other things like do yoga and meditation and spend time out in nature. And I don't go to church.
And that's not only is it not surprising, but it's totally understandable. The way the church has handled and treated people in the rainbow community has been shameful. And so for somebody to have put up with abuse for as long as she has, as long as I have, to not go back, yeah, totally understandable. And I think it's excusable.
Well, and I didn't feel that I had to talk her back into it.
Well, it's not our job.
Why? I just said, that's just where she's at right now. And but it was funny. I said, being around all those theologians and people who are changing their minds. And she says, well, I don't care. That was a great response. So,
and we as New Thought people anyway, we don't proselytize. We're more like a 12-step group in that we will live our lives. And if you see something that you like in in the way that we're living our lives, come up and ask us about it. We're more than happy to tell you, and we're more than happy to share with you. But if you're expecting us to come and try to convert you and say, hey, come to our church, we don't do that.
Absolutely
We
not.
don't do that.
Do we have to do the news?
We don't have to. I mean, Robert might want you to, but you know.
Well, guess who went
Robert's
ahead
not
and
here right now.
no,
Jeffy's.
but guess who put in his 2 cents this evening?
Uh-oh.
The world famous and ever popular, the only other person that knows where the top secret bunker is located. Diego Reyes is with us this evening.
All right.
And he says, isn't there something about reverends biting people in the guidelines? Yes, Diego. Yes, I think it's on page 422, but I'm not sure.
Second paragraph, third line, third sentence.
Well, you're divine science, so maybe you guys are allowed to do that.
It's different with us, yeah.
All right.
All right, do the news. Hurry up.
Gosh. Yeah. Boy, you're in a hurry up mood tonight.
Robert's going to get you if you don't. So you might as well just do it and get it over with.
Get it over with. Yeah.
I have a sermon to preach, so hurry up. You're cutting into my time.
We have sermon time this evening by the Reverend Jeff Radcliff, who will now, are you using snakes this evening? Will you be handling snakes and speaking?
There will be no snakes. Crocodiles maybe, but no snakes.
Okay. All right. Authorities are still searching for the gunman who shot and killed United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. As the manhunt extends into the third day, more details have emerged as police continue their investigation. The NYPD released photos on Thursday showing a person of interest who was smiling during a flirtatious moment at the hostel with a female employee on New York's Upper West Side. A CNN law enforcement analyst says that the photo yielded what is so far the most significant clue to identify him. Authorities also said that the man traveled by Greyhound bus to New York 10 days before the shooting and used a fake New Jersey driver's license to check into the hostel. And before we went on air this evening, I checked the news, and there is a little speculation that Brian Thompson set this up. Because of the detail, because that he knew exactly where he was going to be. I don't know, but that was in the news earlier. Isn't that interesting?
Kind of defeat the purpose of being assassinated if you set it up yourself? Doesn't that kind of make it more like a suicide?
I have no idea. I just, again, and this just gets to the next story, so I'll just go into it here.
Well, wait,
Go ahead.
Before you go, I did read that he was supposed to be estranged from his wife. So I don't know how to figure this into anything now.
I don't know either. However, this is interesting.
Okay.
Because the killing of the United Healthcare CEO prompted flurries of stories on social media over denied insurance claims.
Mm-hmm.
The early morning killing of a top health insurance executive in Midtown Manhattan on Wednesday has unleashed a flurry of rage and frustration from social media users over the denials of their medical claims, a public display of Americans' pent-up anger at the nation's complex health insurance industry. In one stark example, a Facebook post by United Health Group expressing sadness about Brian Thompson's death received 62,000 reactions. 57,000 of them were laughing emojis. United Health Group is the parent company of United Healthcare, the division that Thompson runs. So basically, the article covered the whole idea of individuals being turned down on a routine basis to that when they submit something into their insurance company, that they are automatically denied, or that they say that they could only have maybe so many treatments, or that, and I'll just go into the prescriptions, that they cannot have their drug of choice. The one thing that I saw here, it says inappropriate denials in Medicare Advantage. Now, I'm in that, not with United Healthcare, but with another organization. It says inappropriate denials of service and payments by Medicare Advantage insurers, including United Healthcare, who is the largest player in that swiftly growing market. And that's because you make a lot of money as an insurance company taking care of people under the Medicare Advantage program, have come under fire in recent years, particularly from the Department of Health and Human Services. The insurers, which are paid by the federal government to provide Medicare services, have at times delayed or denied beneficiaries access to medical care, even though the request met the Medicare coverage rules. Annual federal audits have highlighted widespread and persistent problems related to inappropriate denials of service and payments, the office said. It says United Healthcare in particular has come under public scrutiny as it dramatically increased care denials for its Medicare Advantage enrollees. And the article also said that they are using AI to go ahead and to deny people's claims. Not an individual anymore, it's AI. So concluding, it says the insurer has more than doubled the rate of denials for care following hospital stays between 2020 and 2022, as it implemented machine-assisted technology, AI, to automate the process. That far surpasses its competitors, including Humana, whose care denial grew 54% during the same time period. Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal, who chairs the subcommittee, said in a statement in October, despite alarm and criticism in recent years about abuses and excuses, insurers have continued to deny care to vulnerable seniors simply to make more money.
Not a fan. Not a fan of using the whole AI thing. AI needs to be trained, and it's a work in progress. And what it's going to do is you program into this thing specific criteria, and it's going to stick to that. There's not going to be any nuance. There's not going to be any human understanding and realizing that everybody's case is different. It's all going to be looking at everything as if it's the same thing for everybody. And one size does not fit all. This is probably one of the bigger mistakes that healthcare is going to make, and it's going to cost people money. It's going to cost people their lives. Will they eventually come to their senses and realize that AI is not the way to go with this? Place your bets. Who knows?
And it's important that when these insurance companies and also the government, this is going to be very important here, especially during the next 4 years, is for us to raise our voices not in anger, but to say enough's enough. Here is one that you are going to spit your coffee over.
Or my ginger ale, whichever.
Or your ginger ale. Insurance companies halt plans to put time limits on coverage for anesthesia during surgery. Did you see this week?
I did see that. I also saw where there were enough people who kicked up a fuss about it that they reversed that decision.
Yes, after sharp criticism from anesthesiologists, an insurance company is halting its plan to limit the amount of time it would cover anesthesia used in surgeries and procedures. Now, I don't understand that. Why again, they're billed a flat rate, aren't they?
I don't know what they're doing these days.
Well, from what I understand, it's a flat rate that's charged for the anesthesiologist to go ahead and to put the person under. But Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield said on Thursday it would no longer move forward with the policy change. There has been a significant widespread misinformation, of course, about an update to our anesthesia policy. As a result, we have decided not to proceed with this policy change. That's because enough people went ahead and said, are you kidding? It says, to be clear, it never was and never will be the policy of Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield not to pay for medically necessary anesthesia services. The proposed update to the policy was only designed to clarify the appropriateness of the anesthesia consistent with well-established clinical guidelines. Can we say BS? Go ahead.
What they're doing is applying that same standard that we just talked about, using AI as an algorithm to deny coverage. One size does not fit all. Now, maybe an appendectomy should take an hour and a half.
Okay.
On average. But that's not taken into effect or not taking into account patient's age. Anything could happen in between there. You could stop your heart beating, whatever. So it's not taking into consideration any of those things that a normal person might. It's just saying, this is what it's going to cost, or this is what it's going to take for everybody across the board. And you can't do that. And they found out that people aren't going to stand for that. And when they raised the big old hoo-ha about it, they backed off.
That's what's going to happen, I believe, when the Trump administration starts some of their draconian, crazy agenda with Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, disability. Is you're going to, you think this is heat. You wait. It will be a lot more heat, a lot more backlash than just this. Go ahead, Jeff.
I like to think that you're right, but from everything that I'm looking at on social media right now, it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder, especially when it comes to spiritual people, when it comes to metaphysical people, when it comes to new thought people who say that we want to make a world that works for everyone.
Yes.
Now, to do that, we have to envision the world that we desire to see, where everybody is being upheld and uplifted and raised up. Since the election, all I've seen is a bunch of fear-mongering. I understand that people are disappointed that maybe the election did not go the way that they thought it should, or the way that they thought it was going to. It's time to put that behind us. We can't change it now. It is what it is. We have to move forward. We live in a universe that is continually expanding. And what I'm seeing is people and ministers especially, and that concerns me deeply, who are saying, "Oh, well, all is lost. I'm so devastated. I'm so devastated." Okay, be devastated. Mourn your loss, and that's okay. It's all right to feel those feelings, but we cannot stay stuck in those feelings. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing people who, from all appearances, are digging their heels in and are entrenching themselves in their feelings. We don't have that luxury. We've got a month and a half before the next administration comes in and takes over. And they have already said that they plan to do a lot of stuff that is going to go against everything that we believe in,
Right.
everything that America stands for. We don't have the luxury to sit on our ass and do nothing. We need to begin to move forward, to plan what it is that we're going to do. And that means stand up, raise up your voice, be counted.
Yes.
Be counted. We need to mobilize our forces instead of sitting back and going, "Oh, woe is me. He took the election from us and now we're just going to be stuck." We are not stuck. We are not stuck. We are a people who know spiritual principles, or at least we say that we do. Ernest Holmes said to desert in the hour, to desert
The truth.
our truth in the hour of need is to prove that we didn't know what the truth was in the first place, that
Yes.
we didn't know what the principles were. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing people abandon this. And maybe it's only temporary, and I pray that it's only temporary, but I'm seeing people abandon this because they're so entrenched in what they feel. We need to take those feelings and move them into another direction. That's what the word repent means. It means to turn away from, to go in another direction. Right now, I see us heading in the wrong direction. We need to mobilize our forces, move over, and go in another direction.
Absolutely.
That we need to focus our attention on the world that we desire to live in,
Right.
and not the world that we think that we've lost, because we haven't lost a damn thing. We have the entire universe at our disposal. We know how to manifest. We know what we're doing. We just need to do it.
So I went ahead and just, while you were talking, thinking that I think that we've gone 180 degrees in the opposite direction with in New Thought. When I first got into New Thought in the 1980s, that basically is that you were to deny your feelings. And then we got into individuals saying, well, we don't want to put a spiritual Band-Aid over it.
Right.
And I agree. However, that there is a middle way here, rather than just going ahead and getting all absorbed in the feelings. Feel your feelings, but the purpose of that is to let those go. And to start looking at what has caused that within me, that emotional reaction. And also to start, like you just said, to start visioning a world that does work for everyone.
Right.
And, no matter who is in office. Go ahead, Jeff.
No, Ernest Holmes did say, and I'm not sure exactly where in the Science of Mind textbook it is, but he did say that we need to harness our emotions in order to put power behind our visioning process. It's not enough for us to imagine the world that we want to see. It's not enough to just envision that, but we need to work toward it. Putting feet to our prayers, as he said, treat and move your feet. But he said that we need to take our emotions and use those as fuel to push forward that vision into reality.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, we can deny that the pain that we feel doesn't have any power over us, but we can also take that pain that we feel and transmute it like an alchemist would change lead into gold. We can take that pain and we can put it to work for us. And
Absolutely.
that is what we need to do. And I think that right now people are so caught up in feeling what they're feeling that they have lost sight of the fact that they can change what they're feeling. Maybe not change what they're feeling so much as just change the focus of it and use it in a new way, in
Absolutely.
a better way.
Absolutely. And I think that's the reason why we have this program, is to talk about issues like that. And is that your Facebook rant for this week?
That's kind of what it is. I'm not one of those people who remembers his dreams, but whenever I do, I pay attention because it's trying to teach me something. And whenever I have a dream where I am either standing in front of a classroom, in front of a blackboard, and I'm talking, and I've had this other dream too, where I have stood in a pulpit, sometimes in a small church, sometimes in a big cathedral. Either way, I am imparting spiritual wisdom in that dream. I'm teaching something. So whenever I have that dream where I'm in the classroom or in the pulpit, I need to pay attention because this is something that is trying to teach me something. And I woke up the other day with this exact same thought. We are stuck right now. We're spinning our wheels in this big rut and we're not going anywhere. We need to turn the wheel of the vehicle so that we can pull out of the rut that we're in and start moving in the direction that we want to go, that we desire to go. And so when I dreamed that, I knew that I needed to come here and share this with everyone because it's important.
Oh, absolutely. Let's take a quick break, and I mean quick, because you're telling me to hurry it up this evening.
Hurry it up. Get this show on the road.
Let's get going here. Well, anyhow, good evening to everyone. This is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. We are going to do a couple of announcements, and then we will do a short break and be right back. This Sunday, yours truly is currently parking himself at this place, Summit CSL, Summit Center for Spiritual Living in Akron, Ohio. For more information, please go to summitcsl.org. And for those of you who do not have a church home or do not have a center home, please join us. It's a great service. We have great speakers. And you'll find information about that and about our Zoom call on summitcsl.org. And we meet at 10:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Pacific Time. We do have one of the better services, I believe, in New Thought. This Sunday, though, I don't know, but we had to call him off the bench here. We will have as our special guest, New Thought Media Network superstar, the Reverend Michael Mangus, will be the guest speaker this Sunday. And I have no idea what I'm talking about yet. So, listen, just tune in for that. No, I kind of have an idea. It'll be around the holidays and about givingness. So, again, join us on Sunday mornings. And for more information, go to summitcsl.org. Okay. Let us now take a quick time out. We will play one, and I mean one promo. And then we will be right back. This is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
Now, when am I ever wrong, though?
You want a list?
No.
Okay.
Well, we're
Me?
you're talking to me.
Yeah.
We're with Reverend Jeff Radcliff, and we are discussing the news. Well, another story that caught my eye this week was that takeaways from the Supreme Court arguments on transgender healthcare ban. The Supreme Court heard the most high-profile case of its term on Wednesday, weighing Tennessee's ban on gender-affirming healthcare for transgender minors. Similar laws have been passed by other conservative-leaning states. Challengers say that they deprive kids of treatment that they need, while the states defend them as protecting minors from life-changing decisions. The conservative majority court appeared to be ready to uphold the Tennessee law, and that was based upon their comments. It comes against the backdrop of escalating pushback to transgender rights, notably from President-elect Donald Trump. So what happens next? Well, the court isn't expected to rule here for the next several months. The decision could have direct effect in the 26 states that have passed versions of the ban and might have ripple effects in other measures that restrict sports participation and bathroom use by transgender people. Support of healthcare laws argue that gender-affirming treatments are risky and that the laws protect kids from making decisions before they're ready. The decisions are not made solely by children. They're made by the adults that take care of them. Challengers say that many medical interventions come with some degree of risk and that families should be able to weigh those against the benefits. The arguments in favor of the Tennessee ban could also be used to back federal restrictions, says Chase Strangio, who is the ACLU attorney who represented the families challenging the law. The Tennessee Attorney General says that his state's arguments would still let each state set its own policy. Your comments, Jeff Radcliff.
I think they're
Since it's your state.
No, it's my adopted state. It's not my state. Although West Virginia is hardly any better in this respect. I'm reminded of what Donald Trump said just a few days ago, a couple weeks ago, something like that. And he was talking about kids having surgery at school and then going home to their parents. You know, little Johnny left on the school bus this morning as boy, and he's coming back home as little Susie. You know, I don't know how many other people in the world have had surgery. I've had plenty. And not once did I ever come out of the hospital in 8 hours completely healed up and ready to roll. I don't know where they get this stuff. I don't know where
Again,
they get
yeah,
this.
and why don't we let medical professionals do what they do best?
The
And
thing
that,
is,
again, go ahead.
yeah, the thing of it is, these decisions, even if they're made by the parents, can only go so far because you have to spend X amount of time in a psychiatrist's office.
Right.
Having a mental health evaluations and counseling and stuff done before you can actually go through with these kind of procedures.
Yes.
You have to have all kinds of genetic counseling and testing, and you have to have all these different healthcare providers to sign off on this. This is not going into the doctor and saying, "Oh, little Debbie here wants to be a boy. Let's fix her." And, "Oh, yeah, let's do that." No, it's so much more involved than that. And it's time consuming. And you have to start with hormonal treatment as well.
Yes.
And, before you even get to the surgical aspect of it. Tell me you don't understand how this works by showing me that you don't understand how it works. And the way you show me you don't understand is by passing ludicrous laws that restrict this when you have no clue whatsoever. None of these people are physicians. None of these people have a medical background at all. And yet they feel this, the party who said, we believe in small government, we believe in self-determination and the right of the individual to govern his or herself, moving in the completely opposite direction to say, we know better than you. We may not be doctors, we may not be scientists, but hey, by golly, we know better than you what it is you need for yourself or your child.
Do you think that the reason for some of these bans is because of the so-called Christian beliefs?
Well, I don't think I'd call them Christian anymore.
Okay.
They might try to pass it off as that. Christian used to mean following the teachings of Jesus. And Jesus preached love. Jesus preached forgiveness. Jesus preached that we are to, when somebody persecutes you or does something like that, we're to turn the other cheek. And if they want to force us to go down the road and carry their backpack or whatever, go 2 miles with them instead of just 1 mile. Go the extra mile, as they say. Take care of the widows and the orphans. Well, that's Paul, but
well, that's also in the Old Testament too, and also take care of the poor.
Yeah.
So,
but the love, the caring, the acceptance, the seeing God in everyone else is not there. So these are not Christian beliefs that they're espousing.
Yes, and that understand to people who are watching, these surgeries, again, like Jeff explained, are not done lightly. That again, that these children and these families go through testing. They go through psychiatric counseling. They go through a lot of things, and that the reason why the push now is because that transgender children and also adults have an extremely high rate of being killed and also suicide. So that's the reason why, again, leaving the medical profession to do what they do best. And again, these surgeries are not done, like, for example, going in and getting your crow's feet, Botoxed or something. This is serious surgery. This is done because that there is a need that's determined by not only the parents, but by the physicians.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's people not understanding, people not being willing to try to understand. It's this idea that my opinion is everything, your opinion is nothing. We're seeing this in every aspect of Western culture these days,
Yeah.
from politics to religion to any other social construct that you want to think about. Nobody wants to talk anymore. Nobody wants to come to compromise. It's my
Interesting.
way or the highway.
Interesting. Yeah.
And that's why we're stuck where we are. Nobody wants to give a little. Nobody wants to give up any ground because they think that we have to win it all or nothing. All or nothing. And that's not what makes a functional world.
Right. And again, I think a lot of it here in this country is fueled by the Christian nationalist movement, which is, again, what?
You think?
Well, I have some good news this evening here, Jeff.
Okay. I'm all for good news.
Some good news here. And this is from my great state of Ohio.
Well,
Local Satanist turn tables on Christian program in Ohio schools. A group of Satanists in Ohio have turned the tables on a religious release program in public schools that allows for students to be taken off campus for religious education in the middle of the school day. The Cleveland Plain Dealer reported that the Edgewood Elementary School in Marysville, now it's not Maryville like in Tennessee, but this is Marysville, Ohio, will allow students to take time off during school to attend the Hellion Academy of Independent Learning, which initials are HAIL, or HAIL, which is sponsored by the Satanic Temple. June Everett, who's a local minister at the Satanic Temple, tells the local news station that the satanic religious education is only offered at schools where it's being requested and only in schools with programs that already allow for similar religious releases. So if you have the Good News program in your school district, well, guess if somebody requests the Satanists to come in with their program, there's very little that you could do to stop it. According to Everett, who's a parent of a student at Edgewood, put in a request for HAIL as an alternative to the LifeWise Academy that offers Bible lessons in 200 different schools across Ohio, including several school districts near me. Everett says, we're not trying to shut down the LifeWise Academy, but I do think a lot of school districts don't realize when they open the door for one religion, they open it for all of them. Everett also tried to dispel the notion that she was teaching children to be evil. She said, we are not devil worshipers. Different Satanists across the U.S. will give you a different answer depending upon how they personally believe. But as a whole, we are non-theistic, meaning that we don't believe in any supernatural deities, and that includes, God or Satan.
That is where,
Isn't that interesting?
yeah, it's interesting that I have always wrestled with this idea that there is a power in the universe that is equal to what we call God. Christians say that God is the ultimate power, the ultimate force, but yet they turn around and give Satan or the devil equal footing with that. We at New Thought come at this from a totally different perspective. We believe that God is all there is. And if God is all there is, that means that there is no room for any opposing power or force. Because if there was room for a Satan or a devil or any other opposing force, then God wouldn't be all there is, and God would not be God. God would not be omnipotent. God would not be omniscient. God would just not even be omnipresent because there's room there for somebody else. Well, guess what? There's not. There
Right.
can't be if God is. So Christians need to actually sit down and have a good think with themselves over what they consider to be true about God. And if they find themselves thinking, oh, well, there's got to be some Satan in here, then they obviously don't think that God is strong enough to defeat this because they've already given God's power away to an opposing force.
So
when they go freaking out over the satanic church teaching their principles or whatever, they're just giving their power away and they don't seem to realize.
So does that mean that if we had some kids from our centers that attend a public school, that if we had a program that we could pull them out and take them to our centers and give them religious education? Personally, I'm against that. I think that needs to be done not on school time.
Absolutely.
School time is for not only general education, but also for, now, am I against religion being taught in schools? Absolutely not. Or world religion that's being taught so that we can understand other people? Absolutely not. But to go ahead and to pull these kids out of class, put a T-shirt on them that says LifeWise Academy, fill them full of snacks and stuff, and then, teach them the Bible, and then on their agenda, their version of it, and then to send them back to school. Again, that you open up a can of worms here. And again, personally, if I had a child in school that had their choice between the LifeWise Academy, it sounds to me like the Hale Institute is non-deist, and that they're doing it just to tick off the Christians and say, listen, do you realize what you're doing here? You are saying, okay, that we are spending, our teachers are taxed enough. Why take these kids out of class to teach them our agenda? Oh, it's just the Bible. Well, as you said, there's some passages in Ezekiel. I don't think we want to be teaching little Johnny or little Susie right now. So,
and you're right. That's exactly what this church is doing. What the Satanist church is doing. They're just sticking it to them. They're just trying to piss them off a little bit. And the thing of it is, Christians are so gullible in that respect. They're a really easy mark.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what if you have a school district that has a predominance of Jewish children? Does that mean that you can, from how the law is reading, yes, you can have an activity where you take the children out of school, out of the public school, and then go ahead and then train them in religious instruction. Now, I'm not sure. I think there's a limit on how much that you can do that during the week, but still that, I mean, some of these kids think of this as a field trip, just to get the heck out of school.
Well, yeah, but they're not.
I don't blame them. Go ahead.
Not doing this to everybody, are they? I mean, don't the parents have to sign off on this and say, "Hey, little Johnny or little Susie is allowed to do this"?
Yes,
or not? Yeah, this is something that you need to opt into. And by the same token, if you don't want them taken out of school for Jewish religious training, or if you don't want your Jewish child being taken out for Christian religious training, then don't sign them up for it.
Right.
I mean, duh.
And that, again, that separation of church and state that is being argued all over the place. Let the parents, let the clergy, let the people who are trained to do this do it. And we do not have to take our kids out of school to do that.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And for them to say, well, we can't have this church doing this because they go against what we're believing, but yet they're wanting to force their beliefs on other minority religions. No, it doesn't work that way.
Well, of course, Wayne Baldwin is with us this evening, and he says, "Live long and prosper." He says, he says, Captain Michael Woot Woot. And there's a lot. Here you go. Here's Wayne getting into the holiday spirit. He's saying, "Bah humbug."
All right, Wayne. My dude.
Well, Jeff, we're all out of time.
I knew you were going to say that. Guess what? We're out of time.
And guess what? I had two more stories on interracial marriage and pastors not doing interracial marriages, and I had a story on the Pope Mobile. But we'll have to save those for another time.
There will always be another time.
Pope Mobile.
Mm-hmm. There will be another.
I thought you ordered one, Jeff, for yourself.
What? I'm sorry.
A Pope Mobile.
I probably ought to. I pissed off enough people that I'd probably be safer out on the road if I had something like that.
That's because there's a bulletproof glass around it. So,
but you know what? They say that Pope Mobile only gets like 2 miles to the gallon, something like that.
Well, they're on the article says that I guess that the mileage is increased, but again, the reason that Pope Francis wanted to do this was because, again, for ecological reasons.
Put a big old a solar panel up there on it.
Jeff Radcliff, I'm so glad that you're feeling better, and thank you for being on the show. And again, you add a lot to our conversation, a lot of knowledge and wisdom and levity, and you know what? You're good for ratings too.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. Keep up the prayers, folks. I'd like to see this resolve in my body sooner rather than later, but it's all happening in divine timing anyway, so it's good.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so very much. And we're all out of time. Time flies when you're having fun. And again, thank you so very much for joining us this evening. And this is the month of giving. If you could really consider giving us an extra special gift this month, we would really appreciate financially. ntmedia.org/donate. We have so many projects on the table here coming up, and that we are looking for funding for them. So again, we have new programs from other presenters. We have a lot of other programs that we're putting together for next year. We also have our ongoing streaming service, which provides conference streaming on the internet for New Thought and spiritual organizations at a fraction of the cost that it would cost them if they were to go out and to get the same services professionally. So we're out there serving here, and you can serve the world through us, through partnering with us at New Thought Media Network. So go to ntmedia.org/donate, and we really appreciate every single one of you and all of your, not only your prayers, but also your financial support. On behalf of all of us here at the New Thought Media Network, including Reverend Jeff Radcliff, and also my boss, who cringes every time that I say it, the Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, I'm Reverend Michael Mangus. I'm going to wish you a very pleasant good night, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.